My name is Hannah Feuerbacher. I'm here today with Kevin Geil, photographer for Express News. Yes, and we're going to be doing an interview today.
Or used to be.
All right, so, well then first tell me, what do you do now?
I'm with 2 Tons of Steel.
And that's all you're doing right now?
It's full time.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you were doing photojournalism, what got you started in the field?
And I love chasing ambulances and fires and jumping out of airplanes and just the thrill of being right in the middle of the whatever was going on. That was that. I loved it.
What moment in your life made you decide that that was what you wanted to do?
It was just, I mean, that's all I ever thought about. You know, I never decided, oh, I'm going to go somewhere and do something else. It was like, I'm going to be a photographer, and that's all I did. Just never took my eye off the ball, you know.
That's always a good way to start.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so why did you go for photojournalism then? What made you decide?
Back then, that was in the early 80s when I started in high school. And there was a buddy of mine who was, I think he was a senior. His name was Howard Casaberry. 18 years old. He had already been an intern with National Geographic's. He was just like phenomenal. You know, I mean, he was like a guy that you're like, holy moly, how did you get these pictures? And so kind of following him was a big reason.
You had that inspiration.
Well, to actually see a guy right next to you doing great things and winning huge awards and traveling all over the world was pretty cool.
Right. So how would you consider photojournalism making a difference in the world?
Well, we tell stories, and now with so much video going on, and pretty much everybody's a photographer now because of phones, but it doesn't mean that you're a photojournalist. You know, we tell stories with pictures and spend a lot of time and get down and dirty, versus driving by in your car and saying, oh, and that's on Instagram and whatever, Snapchat, whatever the thing is these days. So, being able to tell stories with pictures and like real pictures, real pictures.
Okay. How much did some of the things that you see take a toll on you?
Oh, a lot, especially with kids now. Just seeing. I've seen a lot of things, that most people don't see. But it just makes you more aware. Even today, I always notice, I'm like, why am I always finding where the trouble is, or it's catching my eye when everybody else is like, whatever's going on. I'm like, man, see this, it's about to go down. Let's, take a step back, or cars or wrecks and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it just makes you more aware of what people are capable of and, maybe how to deal with them a little bit better.
Okay. How do you feel about drone photography?
I think it's killer. I mean, to be able to do that, that's, a buddy of mine has one of those, and it's fun. But I'd probably crash it. My last frame would be, Yeah, we used to have to climb up on top of buildings like this, to try to shoot something, and now you can just fly your camera up there. You kids. You darn kids, you got everything.
So how long were you with Express News?
Almost 19 years.
Before the paper shut down?
Yeah. Well, they didn't shut down, but they everything. It was a pretty surreal day. Everything just kind of stopped. No, but there's so many other things that you can do now as a photographer, even a photojournalist. I mean, there's so many other venues than newspapers. Tons of online stuff, and just I think it's, even though the newspaper business is smaller now, I think there's more opportunities for photographers to be able to shoot, than just, because back then it was just you either work for a newspaper or you work for a magazine, and now there's like all these crazy things you can shoot for. Don't ever, I tell you what, somebody always asks me, it's like, how do you do this? It's like, you just never say no, because somebody else is waiting. Don't ever say no. Whatever it takes to get the shot, or whatever you got to do it, because somebody else stand right behind you, I'll do it. You know, so that's the key.